Hey there, it's Kay, and thank you so much for joining me for today's budget video where I'm going to be sharing with you guys my budget for my first paycheck of September 2021. I'll be going over the estimated numbers based off my monthly setup video and comparing them to my actual income and actual expenses. Alright, let's get budgeting. So I've opened up here to the September monthly budget because I'm going to need this page first to fill in all of my budgeted amounts for the paycheck before I can go ahead and share all the actual amounts. I really like to do it this way just so that you guys can see the process of how I translate these numbers into a multiple paycheck budget, which I know can be really helpful for when you're starting a budget. And that's what I looked for the most when I was starting my budget and watching other budgeting videos. So that's why I started incorporating this into my content. So let's get started on the estimated numbers first. So I estimated income from my job and also rollover from July's budget. And so for the month, I had estimated an income of $2,800 to be divided by 2 expected paychecks. So for the first paycheck, I estimate about $1,400 coming in. And then this $38 could be used either paycheck 1 or paycheck 2. So I'm going to throw it in paycheck 1 because paycheck 1 is where I like to budget out all of my variable spending for the month. So I estimated a total of $1,438 for income for this pay period for me. And the fixed expenses that I normally pay during my first pay period: Spotify, Sprint Safeco, and UMass Lowell tuition. So I'm going to copy those down. And for Spotify, I estimated 5, Sprint 54, Safeco 133, and tuition 50 for a total, let me get my calculator, 5 plus 54 plus 133 plus 50 for a total of $242 for fixed expenses. And then 1,438 minus 242 leaves us 1,196 to carry on into my next category, which I do variable expenses next. And like I said, I like to have all my variable expenses budgeted out for the entire month. So I'm just going to copy all of these down. And also copy down all of the amounts that I budgeted for. And so that totals up to $670 that I estimated. So 1196 minus 670 leaves 526 that I could then carry into sinking funds next, which I will because that amount is greater than what I had estimated for the month. So I'm going to do that. So 526 carry into sinking funds. So I'll copy all of these down and copy down the amounts because these are the budgeted amounts. So then we're going to subtract 210 from the 526, leaves 316. That would be theoretically, based off of what I estimated, the first extra payment towards my Nelnet F. With nothing left for extra savings. So that's how I pull my estimated numbers based off of the monthly budget for my first paycheck. So I'm going to go ahead and actually flip this back, and it just goes right in front so I can flip it around. I'm going to grab purple because I did do my book as purple for the month. I don't know if it shows up that well on camera, honestly. On my display it looks black. And I do high contrast when I'm editing. So yeah, I switched to purple, and we're gonna go through my actual income and expenses. So the paycheck that I received on the first, my first paycheck was $1,744. So off to a great start, more than I budgeted for. And I'm gonna take in that 38 as well. So I'm just gonna clear this out. 1744 plus 38 is 1782. If you can hear people talking in the background, I'm sorry. There's just mad people being loud in my parking lot in my building. I don't know what's going on, nor do I really care, honestly, but I apologize about that. All right, let's move on to fixed expenses. Paycheck number one is always the best for me because these are all on auto pay. So the amounts that I budgeted for are the amounts that will come out. So this is pretty much a clean sweep. So we're going to subtract the 242, 1540 is what we can take down into variable expenses. And I'm pretty particular about budgeting for my variable expenses. I very rarely will have to change an amount, and I did increase a couple of categories for this month as an experiment to see if it's going to be enough for me. So I'm not going to change what I had already changed from last month. So I'm going to leave all of these amounts the same, which again makes it pretty easy for me. 670, 1540 minus 670, 870. So I'm gonna go ahead, take this 870, pull it next into sinking funds, and I'm in an interesting place because I earned more than I budgeted for, and therefore I have to decide where I want to put that money because I like to do a zero-based budget so that every dollar is accounted for. So do I want to put more than I budgeted for into sinking funds? Do I want to put more into debt payment? Do I want to kind of do a little both? And my gut instinct automatically says extra debt payment because I do really want to get my null net F down to about $1,000 before the end of the year and before interest starts collecting again. So I'm gonna go with the extra debt route. So I'm just gonna copy all of these amounts that I budgeted for so that there won't be any variance on here. There'll be very little variance on this. And I don't know if you saw my monthly budget video. You should definitely go check it out again so you know where the monthly numbers come from. The reason phone is crossed out like this is because it's kind of in limbo, the sinking fund, because I fulfilled my goal of purchasing a new phone with it, and I have a little bit of money in it, and I haven't decided what to do with it, with the money or anything. So that sinking fund's kind of in limbo, but I just want to make sure that I'm not budgeting or putting anything extra in it. So that's why it's crossed out like that, but I still want to have it written down as a record of the fact that I still have that sinking fund. So I'm just keeping what I budgeted for, very straightforward here. 870 minus 210, I really shouldn't need a calculator for that, it's 660. So I'm gonna take the 660 down. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this 660 and just put all of it straight into that null net F, and that's gonna zero out the budget there and pour extra savings. Nothing going to extra savings. So I'm going to actually grab another color because I like to do my variance to see what the difference is. And like I was saying, this is a very automated budget a lot. Like most of these are pretty much straight copy paste, So there's not going to be a whole lot of variance. What's going to end up balancing is the surplus from my income will be offset as a deficit from overpaying or going over budget on my extra debt payment. So no variance on the rollover. 1744 minus 1400 would be 344. So that was the income surplus. I thought this pen would be darker for some reason. It is showing on my display, so I hope you guys can see it on your displays. So we had a surplus of 344 and no variance on any of these because these are my auto pay bills. So that makes it easy for me. I still have a surplus of 344. And again, no variance on the variable expenses because I kept all the amounts that I budgeted for. And then we'll go ahead and pull that up here. And again, no variances all the way down, no category variance, surplus of 344. So like I said, this is where it should balance out, is in the extra debt payment, where 660 minus 316 should be 344, which it is. So we went over 344. So if we walked in with a surplus, had a deficit of the same amount, we zero out the budget there. So not a very crazy or surprising budget, but it's still a very successful budget. I'll be able to make an extra $344 of payment towards my student loan off this paycheck, and I can only hope for more success off of the second paycheck budget. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you like what you saw and you want to support me, feel free to leave a like on the video as well as a comment. Let me know how your September budget is going so far, and I hope it's successful. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're not already following me on my journey. It really helps me out. It's totally free, and I am on a journey to hit 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the year. If you're already subscribed, you can hit the notification bell so that you do get notified when I upload, and feel free to keep up with me in between uploads on Instagram at KBudgetPlans. Anyways, thank you so much. Hope to see you next time. Peace out.